Did you know that your fear of perception, your fear of being seen, your fear of being heard is linked to usually one or two core memories, oftentimes from your childhood, where you found it unsafe to be seen or to be heard? It felt unsafe to be seen or to be heard. I have discovered this through a process I've been researching and developing for the past couple of years. I call it mirror magic. It's where you use neurobiology and optogenetics. It's basically research that nobody really talks about, but you use your eyes to unlock your subconscious. You use either your hand, like a cup, like a satellite dish, or a concave mirror. Don't try this at home to unlock your subconscious. And then you have a dialogue with your subconscious. Why do we use the eyes? Because the eyes are part of the brain and because they have light receptors, and the type of light that comes into your eyes activates or deactivates different neuronal activity, and you have neurons in every single part of your body. Your brain is the RAM, the random access memory. It's not really where your memories are stored. Your memories are stored in your wet hard drive, your DNA. That's why it's called your wet hard drive. And you have enough space in your wet hard drive to store every memory that every ancestor's ever had. So we go through the eyes, we find the memory in the visual field. So this is the coolest part of it, honestly. This is hands down the coolest part of it. Like EMDR, how they'll do lateral eye movements. This is not that, okay? Your visual field actually represents your memories. Your memories are not only color coded, which is a whole other story we'll get to on another day. Your memories are not only color coded, but they're also at a physical location in your visual field. And this has been shown on ophthalmologic studies that people who have or are currently experiencing like really heavy emotional trauma, they lose part of their visual field, and it's very obvious on these images. They have these like kinks and dips in the outer part, and the outer part of your visual field is what is connected to your prefrontal cortex, the CEO of your brain. This is your higher learning, higher thinking, problem solving part of the brain. Trauma gives you a literal blind spot, and a lot of them actually. So what we do is we reflect the light that our eyes emit, because every cell in your body emits biophotons, different wavelengths, different colors of biophotons. There's a fair amount of research on this. First, we make it all coherent. That's also kind of like a whole other side tangent, but you have to make it coherent because light can't transport information unless it's coherent. So we have to make it coherent. There's a whole prelude to doing this, but the meat and potatoes, the coolest part of it, is that you wait for, and you kind of feel it, but you wait for like a jump in your vision, or kind of like I don't know, it's hard to explain, but you wait for like a jump in your vision, and you find your memory on the is this the x-axis? The horizontal axis? I almost failed quantitative analysis in undergrad, so. And then when I got to grad school, it was all, on the computer, the linear regressions. You don't need to really remember these things these days. Anyway, you find where it's at in the horizontal axis. And then you find, okay, so let's say it's right here. Now you find where it's at on the vertical axis, and you do some other things to actually unlock the subconscious so that you can have a dialogue about this memory, but you're literally locating the memory within your visual field and accessing it through your RAM, through your brain, through the eyes. So once you do like some sort of gymnastics for your nervous system, you unlock the subconscious, you have a dialogue, and it's so key. This is not emotion code, it's not body code. You're actually unlocking the subconscious, which is so key because in order to find and reprogram a limiting belief, you have to find the exact memory, you have to find the exact age that you were, and you have to find details that you can't consciously access. Sometimes you will not have a conscious memory of these events because you were too young to form a memory. Sometimes they come from a past life. Sometimes they come from your ancestors. Sometimes there's someone else's emotions that are trapped in your body. It is a rabbit hole. I teach it all in my stuff. I don't know how to link anything on TikTok. I just started my TikTok account. But anyway, I found and processed my fear of being seen by doing this, by finding the exact memories that led to me feeling that it was unsafe to be perceived. And you're gonna feel this really deeply if you are like the black sheep of your family, if you were a gifted student, if you've just been triggering mediocre people your whole life, like you're gonna feel this. You're gonna feel this deeply. Because what happens when you've been triggering mediocre people with your magic your whole life is that you learn it's not safe to be perceived. And that's because humans are a case-based reasoning animal. Our behavior is determined by our memories. That's what self-limiting beliefs do. They take a memory that you may or may not even remember that's stored in your DNA in the form of light, that's playing subconsciously in the background, and they influence your behavior. And that's why neurobiology research and optogenetics research is so cool, because first of all, it can be used for bad, but you can also reverse engineer it to mind control yourself. So that's basically what it is. It's like mostly mind control research that the DoD finds through putting out this funding blanket where you can submit a, not even a manuscript, submit a proposal to have your research funded. And what they do, and only, this is like kind of an insider tip. So I'm a researcher, biomedical researcher. My background is clinical diagnostics, research and development, and clinical nutrition. And I've published studies on clinical interventions of polyphenols, that kind of thing. But when I was in diagnostics, I discovered this. The DoD, through different, bodies of funding or different, whatever avenues of funding, they will put out a request for your best research. And you can't get funding unless you've done some research already. You have to have gone down a rabbit hole on something already. So they'll look at all of your research that you've submitted already to get funding to do more research. And they'll say, there's potential, but no, we're not going to do it. Then all of a sudden they start doing the research. So not all of it gets talked about. And the part that does get talked about, sometimes it'll just fall off the face of the planet. It'll be a whole, someone's whole life's work, a whole research body of information. And then all of a sudden, poof, they stop publishing. And it's wonder why. They didn't stop researching. They just stopped publishing. They're now researching for agencies that don't publish, due to operational security issues. So this is mind control research. This is mind control research because, and this is the part that people don't understand, nobody gives a shit what is going on in your mind. No one's trying to control your mind. They're trying to control your behavior. And that's the fear of being perception. It's not about your limiting beliefs. It's not about what you're thinking. It's about what is going on subconsciously that's controlling your behaviors.